Somebody.
Well, it's recording now, and we're live. And we'll see if people start coming in. I'm just tweeting out that what we're doing. We live.
We live up in this motherfucker.
We are live.
It's all the way live.
It's all the way live.
All right, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong?
It just occurred to me. These are the three hosts of the Parlor Live.
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
Oh shit. Look at this. This is
so good. 3 generations. Oh man.
The start, the heyday, the end.
Yes.
Yeah, Manny ruined it.
I did.
Hello, Carla. Hello, Mariah. Me and Mariah. Should I start it, or do you want to start it, Manulus?
You got it. You got it. You got to kick it off. We have 3 generations.
That's right.
Just,
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Love in Black and White, where each week your hosts, myself, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth, and the co-host, Manulus Rojas Martin Jr. What do we try and do, Manulus?
We try to put the love back in your right. Oh, Adam Cousins in the comments. Shout out.
What up, Adam? What up,
Oh,
San Francisco
man.
49ers?
I gotta leave. If Cousins is here, I've already just become the 4th funniest person.
Oh, stop it. And what's up, Adam? And we have a guest this week. I am so pale. I'm like translucently white on this. Anyways, we have a guest. This is our 3rd guest that we've ever had on the podcast. We've had a gay, a whore. She'll say it herself.
Wow.
Liz, you might meet Liz. Anyways, our guest this week is a very good friend of both of ours. He is the original host of the Parlor Live Comedy Club in Bellevue, Washington. Justin, the Thrupple Rupple.
Yeah. Love it. God, it's been too long.
It's been way too long, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you're going by Manulus now.
You know, it's
You can't fight it anymore.
Yeah, I just remember when you were like, it's on some Lawrence Fishburne type shit. So you got to.
Dude, it is. Like, seriously, back in the day, Lawrence Fishburne used to go by Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Larry being in the Matrix?
What up, Sanders?
Sanders.
So just so people know, the people that are watching this, and I guess if you're listening, it won't matter. But to the people watching this, I usually will highlight comments. I can still probably do it. It's a little difficult, or more difficult than usual, because we have Justin and I are filming here at the same location. But so let's get into it right away. So Justin, can I tell a little my backstory of you?
Sure, please.
Okay, and you can jump in. So Manny and I both know Justin. Like I said, he was the original host of Parlor Live Comedy Club, and Justin was dating a woman, Katie, for you've known her, or you've been together 14 years.
Yeah,
is that right?
It'll be 15 here in a couple weeks.
And
it's a more amazing story than that, because I feel like everybody in the room was trying to hit on her, and you don't want anything to do with them. And then Justin was the guy, man. So
I met her out. Jeff Dye was headlining Giggles, and Jeff. If anybody listening or watching knows what Jeff Dye looks like, he looks like an Abercrombie model that suddenly decided they wanted to run comedy as well.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he's that pretty, he's that tall, he's that, and so I was outside, like, after his show. I hosted the show, just miserable. I just like, look at, because it's just 300 beautiful women,
right?
And my future wife's sister walks up to me and goes, my daughter, she says, my daughter, because she's, she was trying to make herself more authoritative. My daughter thinks you're really cute. And I was like, yeah, who's your daughter? Thinking it would be like the only unattractive girl that Jeff brought.
Right.
And I look over and she goes, she's the 6-foot blonde over there. And she was in heels, so she's like 6'3", and I'm 5'10". I'm not 5'3". Sitting next to Jay, it looks like I'm Brad Williams size, but
we represent the lollipop.
I am normal human size. But she was taller than me, and I'd immediately just walked over like, holy shit. And because that's never happened to me. And when you meet somebody who comes to a comedy show and wants you know that's for the rest of your life. I mean, they're that much in common. Turns out we actually went to the same preschool together and didn't know it.
Crazy.
And even crazier than that, we went to competing high schools, middle schools, colleges, and lived 0.5 miles from each other, and worked in. I worked at the Red Robin that was attached to the movie theater, and we never met.
You don't have to brag. You don't have to brag about Red Robin.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing it 7 years, Jay. 7 years.
So you've known her 15 or coming on 15 years.
Yeah.
And Justin is like always like, obviously this thing is titled Thruple, and I tease that it's about a person that's in a thruple, so you can guess why Justin's here. But this is what I wanted to get across. Like, out of everybody that we've worked with, you would be the last person.
Yeah.
Not because not because you're because Justin's like very straight and narrow and very conservative family, right? And so Justin, like, the way this came up is we were talking and you were telling me that you were coming to Vegas, and I think you mentioned like, you were like, me and my fiance are coming out there, or we're coming out there with my fiance. And I was like, wait, you and Katie are married? So I was like, what the fuck? And then I don't know if I reacted to it.
No, you didn't react to it at all. And I was like, Jay's pretty advanced. Look at this.
Right?
He's LGBTQ plus, man. This guy is he didn't even skip a beat. And that's our favorite thing, is when someone's like, cool, fiance. So where are you going for dinner tonight? Like, that's
Right.
I always love that. And that's what I thought Jay was doing.
No, I'm just dumb.
He's like, I thought you got married years ago. And I'm like, we did, Jay. This is my fiance. And he's, what the fuck?
Yeah. So So okay. So with that kind of as like the setup. So you and Kate, you've been with what's your fiance's name?
My fiance's name is Claire.
Claire.
Our fiance. Yeah.
Yeah, you're our fiance. That's so wild. Which I was just saying the other day. It's crazy for me when I say my friend Shan, who's a lesbian, and I say her wife, because it's such a you're used to saying his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Then whatever the norms are.
Jesus.
PC Manny, do you know how to hit it?
Yeah, we just want to say there are no such thing as norms. There is just the existence, the ethos of the world. You know what I mean? We just love everybody. We love everything, man. So, and just make sure that you're supporting and not judging people, because there is no such thing as normal. Just love is normal. That's all that it really matters.
Damn right, man.
Right.
If I could hug you, I would.
Anyway.
Shut up, Jay. You suck it.
Love, gross. Anyway, so
Claire's her name, yeah.
Claire, you met, how long ago did you meet? How did you both meet Claire?
As it turns out, I went to college with Claire at Washington State University. I was in a committed relationship for years then, and she was just my buddy who worked at the radio station. But she was gorgeous then and gorgeous now, and she was like the queen of all things music. She was the one who booked all the concerts, so she was untouchable. I'm like, that's Claire. That's she's Claire. I mean, she just walks into our life, and when she does, she flutters away, and so years go by, and she would come to occasional shows because she worked at the radio station I worked at after college.
Jesus.
She worked at the same building. Manny knows it, 710 Cairo, where Drew used to work, and
so you're saying she was a stalker?
No, saying she was better at
or
me,
you were
better than me at my job, because she worked in radio for years, but we crossed paths in the hallway, and never really it didn't click that we were there. And then she came to a Doug Benson show years ago at the Parlor Live, where we were all hosts. And she took a picture with me, and it was up on Facebook, and my wife was like, who's that? I was like, that's Claire. I was like, that's Claire. And she's like, yeah, that's Claire. Okay. And I was like, yeah, that is Claire. And that was 9 years ago. That started a dialogue between me and my wife about sex, and had to open up and be like, look, we're for the rest of our lives with each other, we have to be honest about what we think and want and feel. And that's when she opened up. She's like, look, this is another side of me. It's always been,
she said this,
Katie said this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always been 50-50. I've always had feelings both ways, romantically, towards men and women. And I was like, well, we have to explore this stuff, because otherwise, if you repress it down, then someday it's going to explode on you. And whatever that explosion is.
I get the innuendo.
Yeah, you get it, Jay.
It'll
All over
explode
your
on you.
face. I like how when I say something that's real, Jay's like, we got to crack a joke here. It's too uncomfortable.
That's what we say. This is a dating relationship podcast, but number one, it's comics, so we're gonna be cracking jokes.
So yeah, all right. So if I get too serious,
it'll be like, you have AIDS. Here's a joke about it.
I fired my aide last week, bitch. But we talked about it, and we're like, well, look, if this is going to be something we do, it's got to be something that we, someone we both know, and it's got to be something that we both feel. And it just so turns out there's Claire.
So, by the way, Victoria, who, for the people in the chat, Victoria used to work with us at the Parlor. She said, why didn't I know about this Katie when we were in Vegas for his wedding?
Well, she did. I mean, look, it takes a lot. We were together for 7 years before we even talked about it. So I'm glad Katie had the courage and the strength to bring it up, but I don't know why we never brought it,
So, okay. So when did that was 9 years ago that she saw the picture and that started the dialogue.
Yeah. And then about 3 years ago, Katie's like, look, I can't stand seeing pictures of this woman and not doing something about it. Like, she's somehow still single. Like, there's no way we can let this woman just be on the market. It's like watching Russell Wilson fall to the 7th round. Like, what the fuck? Pick Badgers over here. Badgers. So Katie's like, kept threatening me. She's like, you're gonna send a message to her that this is what's up. Like, we like you, like send her a note in class. And so finally, it was on a whim. She's like, I'm going to send it if you don't send it. I was like, it better come from me, because I don't want her to think that I'm going to ruin our relationship as buddies. And, it's my only connection to college. So I sent a message, and she's like, wow. Yeah, that's awesome. The feeling's mutual. And then we just started a dialogue. She lived in Seattle. We lived in LA. And eventually, we met up multiple times over a couple of years. And after a couple of years of it being a long distance relationship, we're like, that's it. We can't take it anymore. You gotta move in with us. So we moved in together 10 months ago. And
Victoria, will you date us? Circle yes or no. Dude, if ever this is a podcast for people ever wondering, should you shoot your shot?
Here's the deal. Should you shoot your shot? If somebody makes it clear that they're in a relationship like this, then yeah, you can do that. Obviously you're if you're just randomly shooting out to celebrities, that's your own choice. Like you can.
Wait, are you calling yourself a celebrity?
No, but that's on the internet. That's what they call it. They shooting your shot like you shoot it at like Ben Affleck on his
right.
What is it? That whatever. That's what she called it anyway.
Well, okay, so that was 3 years ago that was the first email that you mentioned this, and literally her reaction was like, I'm in, for the most part. She was like, I'm interested too.
Those people on your Facebook page that you can see like a lot of your stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So she had seen pictures of me and Katie before. And so my wife and I are so in love that we're all in pictures together all the time.
Yeah.
So if you see a picture of me, you see a picture of her. So after I said that, she's like, what's your... Yeah. My wife is very pretty.
Yes.
So it's, and so
okay,
so what it was.
Prior to Claire, had you guys so 9 years ago you started talking about Katie's bi. I guess it's I'm making it sound like is that what the kids call it, bi? I don't know why I'm like so hesitant. So 9 years ago that you guys had the conversation that she's like, well, I've always been interested in both. And so prior to Claire, had you guys ever messed around with any other women or guys? We don't judge, Justin.
I'll leave the mystery up, but we did our fair share of research.
What a great way to put it, you fuck.
Yeah, we researched.
We did a lot of research, like over and over.
So I've got a question. So let's say the first meetup where you guys really started hanging out. did you have to like set parameters? Was it just a natural flowing thing, or how did the first interaction begin?
So, as it turns out, when she was going to fly down and we were going to meet for the first time, as knowing this information about each other, that we're all like, all right, we're going to try this thing here. She actually flew into the airport the same day I was flying home from a cruise ship engagement.
Nice.
So, she flew in a few hours before me, and so she got to meet Katie by herself, and they had a date. They went out by themselves, and it was easy right away, right off the top. They sent me pictures of each other on bikes in Venice, like, wow, this is easy. And then I met up with them, and there was no parameters set, because some people have different relationships that's in an open thing, where they're like, you go out and do whatever, and then just, you can either tell me or don't tell me. Here are the rules of your sexual relationship. That's not us. For your podcast, what I have as my sexual clique is compersion, meaning I just want her.
You're Persian,
yes, kind of Persian. It's kind of Persian, but it's Persian. Persian like that. Anyway, compersion is the being excited by watching somebody else you care about be excited more than you get excitement from being excited yourself.
I guess I'm into that too, because like I always, if I know the girl's into it, then that turns me on more. Right.
I would rather do something that's not my favorite thing to do and watch them be happy than do my favorite thing and watch them be kind of okay. And that means across the board. So that means, like, if it's vacation, if I'd be happiest in Maui and she'd be okay in Maui, but she'd be ecstatic in Colorado, and I wouldn't be ecstatic in Colorado, I'll be ecstatic in Colorado knowing she's ecstatic in Colorado.
Right.
And that's when you figure that out about yourself, you're like, oh shit, I can't. So once I found out what she wanted, her type just so happened to be one of my best friends from college. And immediately when I turned my eye to my fiance as the way of, oh my God, I never even looked this way before, because she was my friend. Which is always weird to me, that guys are like, guys and girls can't be friends. Yeah, they can. Someone can be so awesome that their looks completely go over your head because they're that level of awesome. Like, this woman knew music better than I did. And I was a DJ.
Right.
Like, so I couldn't even hang with her in that level. So I'm like, shit, of course she's hot, but dude, she brought Cypress Hill to Washington State. She brought Citizen Cope before his Grammys. She brought like all these mothers. I was like, she knew bands coming in. She's like, you heard of the Used? You're gonna. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And my wife,
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, my wife went to the better university than I did. She Magna, scores and
community
shit.
College or what?
Anything's better than mine.
I know.
Oh, bro, Washington State.
I'm fucking Portland Community College. I can't talk shit about anybody. That's just, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah.
By the way, let me see who wrote this. Daphne said, I got questions. We're gonna get to everybody. Definitely gonna be a chance for everybody to throw in their questions. I want to set the stage though. Okay, so 9 years ago, she saw and started the conversation. 3 years ago, they had like a date with you involved. Which also I gotta say too, I'm not even assuming. I think this is kind of a fact. A guy in this scenario, you have to be very comfortable and confident in yourself sexually and I guess emotionally and everything.
That's a lot, yeah.
We talked a little bit prior the other day about like all the comments you get from dudes and like all the horse shit. So
a lot of them,
so they had the date. They were like they're clicking. Obviously, you're seeing pictures and everything, and then your first time involved, or where your first time where everybody, all three, hey, the gang's all here. What was that like? I want everything that was going through your head on that. I mean, obviously the first thing is probably like, this is the greatest day ever.
Yeah,
but
it was great. Yeah.
Other than that,
I mean, we did fun stuff. We went to the theme park. We went to Six Flags. We introduced her to our best girl buddy. And
we're talking about fucking, Justin.
Oh, you're talking about fucking?
We're talking about the sex.
Okay. I'll keep it general because you know me. I mean, yeah, it's nerve-wracking because you got to think as the only, if there's two genders in your throuple and you're the non one, you know, it could be two guys and a girl or two girls and a guy, and you're the only representative. You got to be, you know,
see,
for the team.
I've talked on the podcast before. I've had one threesome I was involved in years ago, and I didn't have like I wasn't in love like with all the two of them. But I remember back then I was like, you got to be somewhere? You okay?
No, my
checking your fucking watch on the show. Jesus
the
Christ.
wife, they're tuning in. They're tuning in.
Oh.
Fuck face.
Oh, hi, Katie and Claire. Welcome. I was just so happy he was checking. No, but I was in a threesome, and I've said if it never happens again, totally fine with that, because I think it's because like I was saying, I get turned on when I know the woman's turned on, so I want to make sure both people are satisfied, and then that's like
bingo.
Fucking work, man.
It is. Well, here's the thing, man. Like if you want to discuss it in that faction, it's like, yeah, if you want to be good at that part of sex in general, don't care, guys. For I don't know about this. Maybe I don't talk about sex very much with guys, which is weird. Guys, I know.
Safe space.
Thank you. Good. I mean, I can be cradled by this this big man here. All our orgasms are basically the same. If we're scoring and it's like a 1 to 3, you can have a 1 where you're like, or a 3, you're like, yeah. But women, it's like 1 to 10. So so what I'm saying is I'm gonna have an orgasm pretty much every time, and it's gonna be a 1 to 3. So if I'm more focused on everybody else having a good time, it's gonna be a lot better. When
Natasha said he's the representative. Jay's got to report to the supervisor. Natasha, that's a good point. Okay, sorry, keep going.
No,
keep going.
Look, women are more giving than men. So if you turn around and you're like, look, I'm just going to be the opposite of most men you've ever been with. I'm not going to care about my stuff because my stuff is actually watching you get turned on. So if all of my stuff is about being like, hey, what can I do? Anybody need a hand? Hey, anybody need a hand? You know, hey, she said nothing here. You know, if your job is to be there for other people, like the Friends episode, be there for her, then it's gonna work out for you because they'll be pretty happy that you were there.
That's your motto of the relationship. Yeah. Be there for her.
Be there for her. Which one? Both of them.
Now, okay, so your first time, you guys you're done. You're doing your after sex thing, smoking a cigarette, whatever, you know, the stereotypical thing, right?
Sure.
And was there any like anything that crept in your head, like was this the right decision, or were you like this was immediately you're like this? Why didn't we do this sooner?
It wasn't why didn't we do this sooner. We knew that we had to. You have to find out what you need and want, you know, and she had to find out that
she meaning
Claire,
gotcha.
She needed to find out that there wasn't the right fit for her in the people that she's dated, and we needed to figure out how we can add to our relationship and make it better. Because we've been together for so many years. We're like, you know, we're kicking butt here. We can do more. We like, Katie and I like to think of it as, we say, I know this sounds weird, we say I love you a lot, like 40, 50 times a day. 40, 50 times a day. And so we think of it as like water. If you got a lot of water, you need a receptacle, right? And once it gets to the top, it's just going to flood over. So if you're one of those people who pushes a lot of attention on somebody and there's overflowing water, find another receptacle. Get
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get that it's a metaphor, but you can also be like, hey, this is my receptacle 1, and then this is my
Would you prefer I say cup?
Yeah.
Find another cup. Hi, this is my champagne flute. This is a flute. Is that better?
So 3 years ago it all started, and then at what point now when you went into this, the 3 years, were you going into it as with the mentality of like, let's see, or were you like, this is hopefully going to lead to something serious?
We were open-minded to it, and it turned out once we spent time together, all three of us, it was kind of like being on a really good basketball team, like a 3-on-3 basketball team, where you're like, every one of us has a different skill, and we're doing well at it. Like she has this skill, she has this skill, I have this skill, and it worked really well as a team. And after a few days of realizing that, we're like, shit, we could get somewhere in our lives by being a team and committing to each other. And we were crying at the airport, letting her go. And she gets in the airport, and we're like, we're texting back and forth. We don't want you to go home. Like and that was 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Hold on where we're at right now. Kay brought up a question. Do men prefer bisexual women for a wife? Well, I guess your answer would be yes.
Men in general.
Well, no, we're gonna all answer it for ourselves.
Sure.
You don't have to be the representative.
No, I don't think it's preferred. I think it's if you think about it, guys is like over sexualized apes, then yeah, we're like, yeah, she wants girls and I want girls. Yeah, bro. No, I don't know. I bet you. Here's the thing. I think most guys would have a problem, jealousy wise.
So I'll answer. I would say I don't like if you said, okay, here's two twins, everything's the exact same. One's bisexual, or what was the exact question? One,
do men prefer bisexual?
Yeah, do I one's bisexual, one's not. I'd probably say I want the one that's not. Just being honest. Now, but if I date or marry someone and then we have that conversation, because I think what did you say? Jealousy? I don't know if it's maybe a lack of confidence. I don't know, or
that's what jealousy
emotionally,
is. Jealousy is all just a lack of confidence, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think I would probably prefer that. But if I'm in a relationship with someone and then it somehow comes up and we talk, maybe this is exactly how it went with you, and we talked and I got all my concerns out and she answered them where I was like, okay, then I think I'm comfortable with it. Then I'll probably be cool with it. But I'd say, like, if you say these are two options, is there a prefer? I'd probably say the woman that's not bisexually. What about you, Manulus?
To me it wouldn't matter. I mean, I'm picturing all these scenarios in my head, right? So I picture me being the emotional one in the relationship, and then the girls just chilling on the couch and be like, what the fuck is wrong with him? You know what I mean? And like people ganging up on me, and I'm like, you guys don't respect my feelings in this fucking house. Fuck both of you. You know what I mean? Like, so I think about that. And then I also think about, like if we're talking like sexually, I'm with Jay where it's like, but I'm also with Justin because it's like, I feel like, well, shit, what if I'm not pleasing either one of you? I feel like the weak link of the relationship. And I think way too much about shit. So I would be in my head all day about like, okay, am I carrying the weight here in the relationship? So, I mean,
well, here's the good news. Here, I can tell you this. I'm not advocating for this lifestyle. I think it should be just as fractional as ours is. It should be only people who are 100% bisexual, where it is, like that's the way it is. And by the way, I'm not a fan of somebody who's like, these two women are not bisexual. They don't touch each other or hold each other or feel any relationship, and I have two wives. That feels weird to me. Like, and I'm just openly admitting that feels weird, because then it feels like ownership.
Right.
And that's where I get really weird about it when someone says like, I wouldn't let my wife do this. I wouldn't let my husband, or I wouldn't share my husband or my wife with anybody. First off, we don't own anybody.
Right.
You don't own anybody. And if you think you do, watch him divorce your ass real quick and take half of what you own. The second you think you own somebody, they own you.
Yeah.
So I don't own. I didn't let or give permission to. We discuss, we find out what it's going to be, and then adults are going to do what they're going to do anyway. So there's no ownership. So I don't love.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. No, please.
Oh, I was going to say,
cock.
Well, like, so I watched that. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the Wonder Woman movie, the making of it with what is it, William Marston?
Yes, yes. We watched it too. Mr. Marsden and the girls. Yeah.
And the Wonder Woman. And it's for those of you who haven't seen it, amazing movie, and it just shows you how three people can truly be in love, but just because of the times they were like looked at, differently, and it sucks. And it's a beautiful thing to think we can do that now today and not have as there's still some.
Your connection's tripping, Manulus.
We, honestly, Manuel's, we saw the same movie, and that it changed our lives. Because we were seeing Claire at the time, and we're like, maybe we're not crazy, because it did feel crazy. It did feel a little bit like why does this feel so good? Why are we not normal? Because this feels right. And that did take some getting used to, because we always look at each other as a team and go, this is great. I feel sad that that we didn't come to this sooner. That would have been great. I didn't want her to be alone without us. We don't want to be without her. But also, yeah, it is, people want to fit in. People want to fit in anywhere they can. And it sucks when you feel like you don't fit in, no matter what. Like that you'd have to keep it quiet, or that you'd have to be ashamed, or that you'd have to feel wrong for just actually caring for somebody. If you're caring for somebody and they care for you back, keep it to yourself, man. I mean, like, your judgment of them, shut up. Like, really.
So
fucking
good.
words to live by.
And I guess I wanted to also ask, like, so as far as like parents, like, how have you guys had, clearly you've probably had conversations with them. What are their thoughts on everything? And not that it even matters.
100% support.
Nice. I love it.
I'm very lucky. It's there comes a time in every kid's life where the parents instill into you the morals and behaviors that they hope you reflect. And if you're checking in with yourself constantly and you're like, this is what you taught me to be a good person, to be genuine, and to be caring, and to be giving and open and honest. And if all of those things led to her and this, then check. Then it, even if they don't understand, they raised you, they'll come to it. They'll see that this is the culmination of what they raised. Hopefully. I can't imagine what it's like for so many gay people coming out, like, and realizing, like, either I'm who I am to the whole world, and I could possibly lose them forever.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, do you live who you are, or do you stay in the shadow and stay with the family who loves you but doesn't necessarily know your whole you?
Right.
I'm not gonna do a lot of questions about like sex stuff, because I'm like, for the most part, I mean, like, there's only so many things you can do sexually, and we get it. There's 3 people doing it all. I want more on like what Manny's talking about, and like, and breaking it to society, so to speak. But Emeretta, sipping on Emeretta, asked, do you practice safe sex with we don't want to say the other woman, right?
Our new partner. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Nice.
But in defense, we practice safe sex totally.
Gross. So
I know.
Okay. The men aspect of the conversation. Okay, here's Natasha. So pardon the question, because I don't know if boundaries were mentioned at the top of the episode. Does the relationship involve fetishes, or are you all vanilla?
Pretty vanilla. Sorry. None of us are out of left field. Fetish, the technical definition usually means an attraction to an activity or a thing not traditionally related to the human body or the sexual organs. So when you hear the word foot fetish, that's actually, you're like, well, that the foot's not a sexual organ, so that's kind of weird to have a sexual attraction to it.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't say weird.
No,
here
but
on
the that's that's the word fetish.
Hold on.
Yeah,
PC Manny, can you?
Yeah, there are no wrong things to be attracted to here on
Thank
the Love and Black and White podcast. So it's like, if it's vanilla, it's vanilla. Sometimes me and my wife are vanilla.
Even if you're attracted to vanilla, Tammy Joe.
Yeah, if you want.
Well, it's look. I mean, what our lifestyle technically would be considered not vanilla,
right?
So, yeah, that. But considering that, inside that, we're compared to other people that we know, very vanilla.
All right. Now I want to ask. So I brought Wrinkles in here because he was whining because I think his toys on the. Everybody knows Rinks though. Everybody loves Rinks. He's the mascot.
Could you not show the dog's dick on camera? Thank you.
Want to add a foursome?
Rich, would you get the dog's or the monkey's dick out of my ear?
Okay, so at what point? So 3 years you guys started talking. At what point did you make the commitment of the relationship, like official, I guess you'd say, and then had the conversation with Katie about let's propose, and how did that go down? That's interesting to me.
We know it's not a legal thing because that's not what you can do legally in the United States. So it's going to be just our own ceremony connection thing, for us. But we want to we want something that other people can be a part of and see and be like, hell yeah, they love each other. Yay.
It'd be cool if me and Manny got an invite.
Well, yeah, Manny will.
I love it. Yes, see, I've told you.
I'm coming around.
Yes,
I'm coming around. I get it now. I'm on board. I get it. That's how we show love. We proposed when she moved out here. We knew we were in a relationship, and we talked about it. After about a month, we're like, hey, please don't see anybody else because we want it to just be us. And the term that we learned as newbies into this whole life is a closed triad is what they call us.
Sounds like the Chinese mafia.
That's right. Don't go east.
Yeah.
The closed triad they run the closed triad.
Now, how did you guys propose to Claire?
We once we were in our own apartment that we all rented together.
Okay, hold on. Let's back up before we get to that. How did you say come live with us?
Oh, that was that wasn't even it was just after the second or third time where we had talked about it. We're like, maybe, LA. And then I think we were on the phone and Claire said something like, I guess I just have to move down there or something, like a joke. And Katie and I went, yeah. Yeah, huh? You moved down here. And we're all from Seattle and she's from Seattle Northwest. And you can only stay in Seattle for so long.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I love it.
Manny.
Yeah, I know, Manny. I love it, but it's one of those places you can stay for a while and be like, I get it. That's cool.
Only like 3 or 4 months out of the year with sunshine.
Yeah. If you get 3 or 4 months, where are you in? Eastern Washington?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Go ahead, Manny.
I was going to say one of the coolest things to me is being able to even think of it from a financial standpoint of combining 3 incomes to, if you want to get a house in the future, you can do those things and it's a little easier.
That's
especially, in Los Angeles of all places.
Yeah.
So
in Los Angeles, incredibly hard.
Yeah, I'm telling him my rent here and everything, and Justin's like, "What the fuck?"
I immediately started texting back. I'm like, "Look,
yeah,
for the amount you pay, I could have a membership in a private jet club, and fly to LA on every half hour. That's how much more my rent is in LA.
Yeah,
we're in a beautiful place, and I was like, it's 1/3 the rent.
Yeah, crazy.
Dude,
1/3.
and all that money is for hookers, coke.
I wanted to ask on a deeper note, if I hope this is an okay question, but I know that in the past you've talked about maybe not wanting kids, but what if it were to change for either one of them? Like, would that be something that you were open to because you want to see them happy?
Yeah. I'm open to kids. The puppies.
Wrinkles, come here.
It's always been something that I've thought about and been like, that could be something I possibly pursue.
Yeah.
We are all a little past the age of natural childbirth without risk.
Right.
So because of that, we have all discussed, there may be a time in a year or two after all being together for 5-6 years where we're like, we would like a new receptacle, and that would be a child. You know what I mean? And just a child to just dump shit in.
Just love.
Let's
love Jay. What is wrong with you? Jesus.
Yeah,
that may be at some point. And there's a gay couple in I think it was Connecticut, or it could be California or Connecticut. It was one of the C's. Two men and or is 2 men and a woman, or 3 men all got custody over an adopted child and legally. And even though they're not legally married.
I think it was 3 Men and a Baby. They had a documentary.
Right. It was the guy from Cheers.
Yeah.
Boo. Sam.
Well, you know what's actually amazing though, just where science is going. And I wonder what your guys' opinion is on this, on the combination of 3 different DNAs in order to create a person.
If that's something that they wanted to do, I would say yes to it. But we've also had the discussion with some people want or need the connection to their heritage. They need to be like, I need my bloodline to go on. It ends here, or there's something. I want to make sure that this continues. But honestly, I think the pandemic changed a lot of things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that changed in us was, hey man, you could lose everything at once, or everything can just go toes up on you. And there's so many kids out there who don't even have somebody to back up on, that if we have that kid thought again, then we really want to adopt.
Right.
It's not no judgment of people who want to do it, the combining 3 DNAs, because they want it that way. But honestly, I just can't. I would rather adopt at that point.
I want to get to some of the questions here. Bye, Kay. Thanks for stopping by. Daphne said, do you always hang out together? Do you always do other activities together, or separate?
Honestly, we don't always hang out together. I ask them to go by themselves and have fun when they go do the stuff they want to do, which is Ross, Marshall's, Target, Home Goods.
There's a benefit right there.
And you're damn right there is. Antiquing of any kind, thrift store shopping, I don't do. I'll go to the grocery store. I'll go to Costco. I'll buy food and goods and that we need. But the other stuff, they like to do that, and I do not like to do it.
That's great.
Yeah, what a great. I mean, like, especially if you don't feel like getting your nails done.
100%.
Do stuff like that, or even get your hair done, whatever.
100%. Katie is not a huge sports fan. Like, she loves going to baseball games occasionally, but not basketball. Claire loves basketball. I love going to basketball games. I like football games. Claire likes football a little bit more than Katie does. So there's ways that we can go back and forth. They both enjoy horror films on occasion. I do not. They love Real Housewives and those kind of reality shows. I don't. So they have somebody to watch it with. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
all right. Sandy asked, who gets spousal benefits? How does health insurance work?
Unfortunately, that is it's just Katie and I at this point. Technically, we've tried to look into a way of, you can get real inventive with it and create an LLC. And then the LLC can pay your employees, and you can get health insurance for your LLC. That would be the way around it.
Interesting. Okay, now we've talked. We know some of the obvious benefits. What are some of the negatives that you would say of being in this scenario? I know one that you told me. Like, we were last night. I was like, "Hey, what you want to watch? We want to watch a movie. You want a documentary?" And Justin literally was like, "Hey man, so I haven't picked a show in probably 2 years. I don't know how to do this."
And he's like, "What do you want to watch?" I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
He's like, "Just pick something." I was like, "I can't." That shit has sailed. I just let somebody else pick it, and I smile and nod along. Yeah, that is weird. I don't control most of the stuff in the house. That is it's not a negative. The negatives really only involve other people, meaning douchebags you run into who give them a hard time for holding hands in public.
Really?
Yeah. You see that a lot. And it's usually jealousy. It's usually some jealous douchebag.
What year are we living in, man? That shit.
Yeah. And then occasionally the guys, guys, it's always guys who are like, "You fucking up your marriage, man. You really fucking it up, bro." Or you think you're like they make it, they want to insult or denigrate what I've got going on just because I said it. And I'm like, oh, everybody else gets to talk about the relationship. Yeah. All I was doing was saying her name. Right. Like I'm not gonna lie and be like, if I just say her name, if I just go Claire and they go, "Oh, who's Claire?" If I go a friend, I'm lying. If I go somebody you don't know, then they go, "Who?" Next question, right? Yeah. So I got to tell you who she is. And if then they go, "Oh, now you're putting it on me, or you're sharing your life with me," then fuck you. Why'd you ask?
Yeah.
Like why'd you ask the secondary follow-up question? I know this is always who he's wanted. He pushes and pushes. Did you ever see Primal Fear? Did you ever see Primal Fear? He's doing that, and I'm Ed Norton. He's like, just switch. And I'm about to tell him the real truth is I'm always the same guy.
So just a little behind the scenes, Justin's like, he's been going viral with these TikTok impressions and stuff, and then he'll read the comments. I'm like, dude, fuck the comments, and like somebody will say something fucked up, and I have how I would respond, but Justin's always like the nice guy. Is like, hey man, maybe you're right, I appreciate that. I'm like, no, Justin. I'm like, Justin always assumes people are nice, and then like lets them prove themselves wrong, and I'm like, no. You have to go that everybody is cunts, and then every once in a while you'll be like, Manny, he's not a cunt. That's great,
he's
man.
Saying push all the marbles over the line and occasionally pull marbles and like, okay, you're good. I'm like, all marbles are on my side. I flick away bad ones as I see them. He's the opposite.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like Rogan just talked about it with Chappelle. Never go into the comments. So even Chappelle was talking about how like. I got somebody said that Dave Chappelle looked like he was stinky, and he was like, "Yeah, I read that shit."
Yeah, let me tell you something. All right. Fair enough. Look, in defense of myself, I've never had anything on the internet that people gave a shit about ever. No one's. My YouTube's got 300 followers. My Instagram's got 2,000. My my internet, Twitter's like 1,000. So I had never had comments coming flying at me, right?
Yeah.
And like today, I just to back end at you.
Oh yeah.
Today, this one guy opens up with, so I was getting a lot of trash. They're like, you definitely didn't do backup voice work for Dwayne Johnson. And I'm like, yeah, I did. In 4 movies, I've got the paychecks to prove it. And they're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, I did. So I posted one video that's like, here's the clip of me. It's clearly not him because it's not him, but it's clearly me. This is an impression. And then I was like, and then I put up my IMDb page, and circled is the movie it's from. Like, here he is, Justin, actor in this. And this one guy goes, well, you don't sound anything like these people. Is this a satire page? What are you fucking kidding me? So I posted back to him. I was like, man, it's a miracle I get any work at all, huh? Thanks for the watch. And he goes, are you serious? You stupid piece of shit. He goes, I can't even believe you're doing this. Why would you lie like this? I said, I'm not lying. ADR is the voice act of replacing a voice. He's like, you sound nothing like any of these people. And I said back to him, he goes, I know a lot about this stuff. And I said, oh, you're a fellow SAG member? What's your membership ID or some films you've been in? You said you're an editor on your page. Do you edit or are you an actor? And he goes, no, I'm sadly not in the union. I was kicked back out of the United States.
This guy.
Just wait. Kicked back out of the United States when I wanted to be an actor. I'm back in Australia. And I said, you wanted to be an actor? What kind? Voiceover. And I said, no kidding. Do you ever, what kind of stuff do you do? He sent a private link of his Facebook, his reel. He's got a good voice.
Fuck
so
him.
I said, shut up. I go back to him.
Yes.
I go back to him and I go, hey man, your voices are great. Like if you keep this read up and you keep investing in this, you could get back to the United States. Deleted his old comments. Him went back, deleted his old comments, sent me a private message. I really needed this today, man. So,
yeah, and now you just look how much time and effort you put into that.
Oh my God! Well, okay,
and he's gonna have a story of somebody who gave him a shot once instead of being a dick, and maybe he won't be a dick to somebody else.
God, I hope I'm not breaking up, but I I went through the same thing with the Comedy Central thing. There's a joke that I do on there that clearly either Wanda Sykes or one of her writers put in her act, and people were like, you stole that joke. And then I go in and I put it in there, and people were like, oh, I feel bad. And then some people were like, oh, well, you know, like, you're not the only person to have thought of that joke. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you just can't win with some people. But I was just like,
well, you can't and you can. Here's what was really weird to me, Manny. And this is, again, this brings back to what we were talking about. When he was just a random person hating on me, right? He had no pictures, no videos, nothing for himself. And then one scratch of the surface and you find out that's a disappointed actor who just wanted to be me or like me or where I was. And if I just was showed a tiny bit of compassion, which didn't hurt me,
right?
You know, like,
but it's taking up all this fucking time in the Love in Black and White podcast. This is about dating.
This is
Fuck
about
that
dating.
cunt.
This is about dating. In that, I'm bringing it back. I'm circling.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
You don't have to. Normally, the people who give hate on our relationship, end up either being people who are divorced, people who were cheated on, people who were single perpetually. They say really nasty shit.
Has anybody like said it to your guys' face?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Like, or what'd they say?
One of my friends in comedy is like, congratulations, you just sunk your marriage.
Oh, yeah, you were saying.
And I was like, oh. And he's like, but, you know, to each his own, I guess. And I'm like,
hey,
yeah.
Click that Cookie McJingles comment.
Where is it? Oh God, fucking yuck. Jay, stop being a dick. It's what I do, Victoria. Hold on, I want to go back up because we got a bunch of stuff. Victoria asked, are they synced?
Probably.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So he's saying both. Is
and
he
I
saying
it that way?
Is he saying that both he and his wife are equally in love with her? That's from Sipping on Eparetta. Let me go. I want to make sure we get these because we're already at 50 minutes. Being held, Natasha, they could do it. Okay, she's talking about the benefits thing. Don't forget to hit and like. That's a great fucking comment, Felicia. I'm going on TikTok right now. Victoria's going to back you up. Okay, more the stuff about I'm trying to catch up on these.
Okay, I'm gonna just ask one while you're trying to find them.
Please.
Do you think that you will incorporate this in your act at any point?
I just started doing it.
I love it.
I just started, and it so far out of the 4 times I've done it, it's 3 for 4.
Nice.
The one time I had a tough set to follow. It was at the end of the show, so I'm blaming it on that. But 3 out of 4, everybody was with me because I think again the point I'm coming at it from is I get a lot of shit from guys because they consider me a beta,
right?
You know, like they consider me like, you know, like you're weak, you know, I'm very plain and vanilla-ish, and so a lot of guys push me around verbally.
You're a nice guy.
Guy.
Manny's the same. Like Manny doesn't. Yeah. I mean, Manny says this all the time. I'm not saying anything. Manny doesn't like confrontation. Doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings,
which is why I dealt with Ruben for so long.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Look, it takes a special type of person to be able to take a lot of intensity. Right. And I take
Thank you, Cookie. Thank you for saying I'm funny and intelligent too. Thank you.
He is.
And I'm fine. Thanks, Daphne. Appreciate that. But let's focus on Justin.
In my it's okay. In the act, I kind of come at it from I'm tired of men telling me how to act.
Right.
Like and my punchline or my point for saying it is I have 2 women who love me. Maybe you should listen to me, asshole. You know, like I'm so sick of being told, you know, a healthy relationship, you fight a lot. No, you don't. Are you kidding me? Your best friend and you fight tooth and nail? No, you don't. No, you don't. If you feel you guys getting heated, you're like, oh, whoa, that was weird. Dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You don't fight. So if you're really in a relationship that is honest and open, where you aren't holding shit back, there's no reason to fight because there's no underlying thing that you're not talking about.
Right.
So I got sick of men saying like, yeah, you got to fight all the time, and I need a man cave. You need places away from your wife? What's wrong with you? Like you leave the house as it is for work anyway. That's enough time away. You need to then go home and be like, I need to be secluded away from the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. What's wrong with you?
Dude, if anything, if anybody you would think would be like needs a man cave, it would be somebody that's with two people.
No, but because men are normally like you.
Yeah.
I can only take so much.
Yes.
I can only take so much before I break. And women typically have more of that, like, I'm not going to intentionally push your buttons unless you're pushing theirs. Guys, we like to jab a little bit. Like, I'll go see my buddies to be like, I need to joust. I need to fight.
Yeah.
I need to go get some of this shit out. I need to go to Vegas and see my boy. You know, and honestly, guess what? They go, please go.
Yeah.
Please go. Get the time out, because absence does make the heart grow fonder. When I come back home from the road or whatever, everything's great, because I'm like, God, I missed you guys. I missed that.
Here's what's okay. Other than the obvious, you mentioned one that it could be at, but I want to know if you can name it. What's like we said like what's some negatives. What's a positive that people wouldn't even probably cross their mind? Like you mentioned one, like one person likes football, one likes basketball, so you got that covered. What's another thing that's like a benefit that most people wouldn't even think of?
It's hard to state.
We all three get our tax returns at the same time.
Well, the money thing is great. The money, because we don't have kids,
right?
And the money thing is great. But the one thing I think people don't realize is that when it's just one of you, if your spouse is having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, it's all saddled on you.
Right.
It's all on you. You got to do your job in the relationship and pick them up too, right? But if it's two of you, statistically, you see one of them having somebody in the place is having a bad time. Oh man, two people can give half effort and be a full one person.
Yeah.
So like in the middle of the pandemic, when she just moved out here, I was up for a very, very big role, and somebody I always lose parts to got the role, and I was like, oh. At the time, I had no money coming in, and I was like, I really needed this part. This is the way it is, isn't it? And they could see I was going,
yeah.
Every comic, every actor, every musician's like, they hit that point where they're like, you can look back on all the negatives and total them up, and they're this tall. And most of the days you're like, nah, it's only really this tall. I'm doing good. But some days you can stack them up, and they could see me spiraling. They're like, hey, you stay home for a little bit, and we'll go take care of some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stay home. And I got this spiral. I got angry. I post on Facebook, and I'm fucking, angry. And they come home. They had bought food. One of them went and cooked, and the other gave me a puzzle with a puzzle from a movie I was in. And they're like,
oh shit,
this is the merchandise from the film you've been in. Don't forget you were in this. She's cooking dinner, and we're going to take you to go do this afterwards. And I'm like, meanwhile, it might have been too much to see me go through that if it was just Katie or if it was just Claire. Like, they may not. I'm very good at debating and being intense. If they had been like, no, we're in a good place. No, we're not in a good place. I didn't get SNL. I didn't get this fucking thing. And, they would have been like, you're right. And they may have laid down to me. But because there's two of them, they kind of back and forth and pick me back up.
That's interesting. Victoria asked, do you get +2 now? Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
Swing and a miss, Victoria. Manny, actually people in the chat, if you have another question, toss it in here now, because we're getting close to wrapping up. Okay, Manny, do you have anything? Do you get a +2 to events?
Yes. Now, yes. People have been like, your girls coming with you? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, got you. Great one, Victoria. Jeez. No, he leaves one person at home.
Yeah, they throw rock, paper, scissors for who gets to come.
Oh, Victoria. This is like the whole fucking Parlor crew here.
It really is. Okay.
We just need Ruben getting in a fight with one of us and then moving on to the next person the next month.
What the fuck? What the
Telling me I only need to do the hits.
Oh, God, I fucking yuck.
I hate that shit.
All right. Give everybody all your social media stuff, Justin. And if you plug anything.
Yeah, you can find me on social media at the Rupple, TheRupple. I don't know why it's not Thrupple at this point.
Yeah.
It should, but just remember that it's Thrupple with an E. So TheRupple. And then you can find me on TikTok. I think it's just at Justin Rupple on TikTok.
You don't know?
I don't know. This is new to me. I suddenly
he literally went viral this week.
2.6 million views in 4 days. Before that, I had 60 followers. This algorithm's so flipping weird. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Victoria's swearing at you. It's so wild. Manny, you want to plug anything?
Just Hollingsworth list tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. What time? 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30. Yeah, you do have 2 TikToks, by the way, Justin. I don't know if you know that.
I need to delete one.
Okay. And Hollingsworthless. I want to. Where am I at this week? But I got something pretty big to plug. This week I will be Wednesday. I am going to be at Rick Rowland Smoking Barbecue for a show. Fucking great. But that's all I'll plug for this week. But huge news. I'll be at Helium, St. Louis Helium, filming my special, recording an album next month, June 10th through the 13th. St. Louis Helium. Tickets will probably go up. I think they might already be up. I sent them all that stuff, and I'm going to be making posts about that. So, and I'm at Big Irish Jet, everything. Anything else you want to end with?
Nope. I'm just happy to be here with the 3 hosts.
It's the best. Yes. We have our own throuple.
We are. Jay. It's a callback. Okay.
And now, until next week, Manulus.
We'll be putting the love back in your right. It's love in black and white.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in the chat. We love you all, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow on the Hollingsworthless. Bye.
Okay, bye.